Hello and welcome to Wisdom in Action, the podcast where we explore what it takes to bridge the gap between knowing and doing, because that's where the real wisdom is born. I'm Austra Putnina, resilience coach and podcast strategist. I created this space to have honest conversations with real experts and bring you practical insight you can apply, not just think about. Today, we are joined by Collis. Did I say it right?
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Author, speaker, coach, and resonator. Dallas joins us from Vancouver Island, Canada, and describes himself as someone back from the dead and out of his story mind. After losing everything in 1 year and standing at the edge of life itself, Dallas began a journey back. His experience inspired a new perspective on self-identity, healing, and truth. Fascinating. Dallas, welcome to Wisdom in Action.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on. I'm really curious to dive into this. So to start us off, what is one piece of wisdom that changed everything once you started applying it?
Show me yesterday.
Expand.
There is no yesterday. It doesn't exist. But most people live in it as if it were real. And it is the basis of every problem, worry, concern, regret, anxiety, everything we face. Every challenge, every problem is believing that yesterday is real. So let's begin at the destination. I wonder if we could reach an agreement to start this. And the question would be, what does every human being want? What is everyone's desired destination in life? I would suggest, and you will find this by any parent asking them, what do they hope for their child? After sports figure, doctor, astronaut, they will say, I just want them to be healthy and happy. I would suggest that every human being on the planet, all 8 billion of us, are seeking happiness. We're seeking love, beauty, peace of mind, happiness. That is everyone's purpose and destination in life. Could you agree with that?
It's really hard to disagree.
Okay. So then the question is begged, why don't we? What's stopping us? What's in the way? What is the roadblock that everyone stumbles on, faces, gets trapped in, caught up in, lives in? Well, that roadblock is your story.
Yeah.
You are a story, Austra. I am a story. I meet you at a public function for the first time. I'm introduced to you and I say, nice to meet you, Austra. Tell me something about yourself. You don't tell me about the human being, Austra. You tell me about a story about Austra. And this is the pivotal understanding of the story mind. From the time we are children, things happen to us. We are told, we are educated, we are informed. We're even told what to like. Tastes, visions, design, beauty that we see around us. We're continually pushed and molded and guided. And things happen to us, traumatic events. Things go wrong, we stumble, we fall, we get hurt. And lots of us pack these pain and insecurity, fear into bags, the emotional baggage, that we will throw over our shoulders and carry, most of us, for the rest of our lives. In the background, a subtle voice, I call it the deceiver, you might call it the ego, that is always there displaying the negative parts of your story. Always there to tell you, be careful, you might fail. Are you good enough? Can you do this? Constantly question you in a negative tone. It's the worst coach we could ask for, and everyone has it built in. And I think maybe the original trauma is birth itself. A baby arriving into this world, and every baby looks the same. Shock. And that is I think, the stimulation of fear and insecurity that's put in us. So that today, at Austra's age, I can talk to you and say 10 beautiful things about you, and then make one criticism. And tonight at dinner table, Austra's going, can you believe that guy said that? Well, why did the 10 beautiful things get pushed aside and made meaningless? Because the baggage, because that deceiver voice comes through and says, you're not good enough. There's something wrong. And so you key on the negative. And this is what happens to us throughout life. So I had lots of that baggage, bullying and abuse, psychologically and physically as a child. I came out of my childhood knowing I wasn't good enough. I was not smart enough. I didn't fit in. I couldn't play the game. I would fail. And so I carried that. And I believe that. We get to a certain age, usually 10 to 12 years of age, where we begin to self-identify as the story. We take the story as us. And we look at the story and we say, this is who I am. This is why children can be traumatized so easily before 10 or 12 years, because they haven't made the rational, logical use of the brain come in and say, this is me. They've just absorbed whatever has happened previously and becomes that story, that baggage. So mine was painful enough that I reached the point that I think every human being gets their first addiction. Every one of us. And that is blame. We fall into the trap, and it is an addiction. I blamed school. I blamed parents. I blamed Boy Scouts. I blamed the church. I blamed everyone for my pain, for what's wrong with me, why I'm not good enough, why I'm not confident enough, strong enough. Then I blamed my partner. I blamed my children. I blamed my boss. I blame the economy, the government. Some days I blame the weather. And a lot of human beings will hold this addiction to their dying days. And we all know them. we think they're complaining.
Some of us, we know them by looking in the mirror.
Yes, unfortunately true. If that addiction doesn't hold water long enough, because you have too much pain, and in my case, I had to have a better medication. And the better medication was alcohol. And when that didn't do its job well enough, I added drugs to the alcohol. Trying to defend myself from what? From me. Trying to keep myself away from myself. Externalize. I say we are all suffering from externalitis. It is a disorder that we believe all life is out there. And so we're going to grow. We're going to get better, improve, achieve, reach something, attain something, consume something, get through grade 1, get to grade 2, get through elementary school, get to high school, go on to college, get a degree, buy a house, a car, get your partner, achieve in your work, get better, improve, become. This is externalitis. And I think it's a disaster for human beings because we're not using it the way it should be used. And we'll hopefully get there today talking about that. So the buildup of this pain and hurt leads me to a 25-year marriage with a woman who is in the same pain and hurt with the same addictions. We have a home, cars, vacation, 2 beautiful children. From the outside, we look like you're good, quality, middle class, successful. We have a business together. Everything is wonderful. Under the roof of that house is another story. It's a disaster, a train wreck, a horror story. That pain builds to the point, and every pain that comes from our mind, and that's the only place pain comes from, is expressed in the body, physically. Eventually it comes out. Some people it's in obesity. Some people it's in heart disease. Some people it's in cancer. And a million different disorders can be diagnosed as the expression. Anxiety being one of the big ones today throughout all age groups. Well, I got lucky. I got really lucky. 4 months into the pandemic, I woke up one morning with cancer. Best day of my life. In the next 12 months.
You won't hear that from many people saying that it was the best day of their life.
Yes. 365 days exactly. From day one with cancer to 365th day, I go through treatment, surgery. My wife and I separate. I lose my house, my business, my family, in any way you can imagine a family to be. I end up broke, alone, and suicidal, and still alcoholic exactly 365 days later. And all that to happen in 1 year is the greatest year of my life. It is praised by me every day. I look at it as the most wonderful thing that could have happened because it opened a door that needed to be opened. Because our lives are yesterday. Everything Austra knows right now in this moment has come from experience, has come from her yesterdays. We are yesterday people. We are historic figures, even in this moment now, because we carry all that. So I am so in tune with my yesterday, my story, and my story mind, and living in that story. Just a few weeks after I'd become this collapsed life, a life that is in complete shambles, everything I knew gone, every security evaporated, distinguished, you're on your own, and it's such a fundamental and empty sense. And that's what suicide brought me, was that emptiness, complete, no feeling, no attachment to life. And that is a estranged feeling of aloneness. But luckily, I think for me, that attached to a bout of depression I'd had about 1.5 years earlier. And my mind went, oh, this isn't suicide. This is just depression. You're just lost. And that pulled me out of any suicidal thought. So I got lucky. Then only 3 weeks later, I was hit by the bolt of lightning, the wake-up call. I always thought it's a Hollywood movie to say, hit by a bolt of lightning. Just so silly. Human beings don't do that. That's just in the movies. Well, I'm preparing dinner one night, chopping vegetables on the board, and in the background is a podcast, and a man is talking about consciousness. And I'm thinking, yeah, fluffy, foo-foo, nothing stuff. And he says one line. And I literally dropped the knife. And I almost fell on the floor. He said, show me yesterday. That's it. But my reaction instantly was, how do I show you? What is yesterday? Austra, I can't go to a cupboard and pull yesterday out and go, look, what do you think? This is yesterday. What is it? Where is it? It's not tangible. It's not a reality right now. If I was traumatized 50 years ago, how did it get here right now? How is it hurting me right now? It's not here. It's not real. I had to take that trauma, put it in a bag, throw it over my shoulder, and walk all this way, 50 years, carrying it. So who's responsible for the trauma? The act that happened 50 years ago? Or the person who has taken ownership of it, cared for it, fed it, loved it, kept it safe, because I have attached to it as if it were me. So I'm responsible. There is no one to blame for anything from yesterday. No one can hurt me. I have to accept the hurt. I have to take it, attach to it, make it mine. Nothing is real behind you. You can't live yesterday. You can't find it. It's only a memory. And then I had to say, but memories are real. Are they? 75% of your life right now, Austra can't remember. Tell me what you had for breakfast on September 12th, 2014.
And even with that, I think a lot of times we remember things not really accurately. Even
Not
things that we do
accurately at
remember.
all. You know the story, my uncle who caught a fish, and every time he tells the story, the fish gets bigger. The event is more dramatic. It's more amazing an accomplishment every time it's told. Why? Because we don't go to a memory. We recreate a memory now.
Yeah.
And every time we recreate it, we cannot remember it well enough. We have a sketch, but we have to fill in the blanks. And it's natural human beings want to feel important, seen, and heard. So our brains make the story over, and it changes every time it's remembered. So how do we rely on memory? Well, it's a part of belief. What is a belief? Austra believed things 10 years ago she doesn't believe today.
True.
She will believe things in 10 years that she doesn't believe today. So
Very
what
true.
is the truth of any belief we can have? The only truth is the meaning we give it right now. Nowhere else. Right now. So if I let a whole story almost kill me, what's the value of that story? What is the value of my perceived self-image? My story. It came very easily to me to be dismantled and say, there is no value. No one has to have a story. You don't need a story. I tell everyone, look into a brand new baby's face. After the baby's been weighed, measured, wrapped in a warm blanket, and placed on mom's chest. Now look into the baby's face, and what does everyone see? Everyone sees the exact same thing. They see beauty, love, and happiness. That's it. The baby has no story, no name, no history, no experience, no pain, no anguish. It's just this beautiful life.
I have a question with the stories. Why do you think we get so attached to them? Because I think even like with what you're saying, we get attached to that story, and then that becomes our identity. We keep dragging it with us, and then that affects all our future decisions, everything, and we kind of map out the whole future based on the past instead of going from like this moment, which I think in many ways it sounds easier said than done. But I'm just curious, like, why do you think we get so attached to that? One is why we get attached, and also why does it feel so hard to let it go, especially when we know it's good for us?
Yes. Fear and insecurity. That's the basis. Fear and insecurity. So we are always, all of us, trying to be not afraid and try to feel secure. Look at the collective mind story, the collective story mind of the planet, and you will see the basis of the entire world in fear and insecurity. Austra, if my government can convince me that you're bad, I'm good, you're wrong, I'm right, to the point I will join an army, pick up a gun, and shoot you. How is that possible? Because fear and insecurity creates this story that my only security is to get you out of the picture, is to keep you away, is to blame the other. It is this externalizing in blame. That first addiction is the global addiction. The story covers up for our fear and insecurity, for our facing our true selves. You know this. You're a high performance coach. I'd make this call. Do you think Pokachar, when he's in full flight, is aware of his bike? I don't think so. I think he's at one in flow, completely alone, completely detached from everything but himself, absolute being in performance. Novak Djokovic, in the middle of a Grand Slam, is not thinking about his steps, his movement, his body position, his racket angle. He's purely there. The racket doesn't exist. It's a part of him. He is completely alone. The same way. That feeling is the 10-year-old Austra playing outside with friends, running around and just being. That feeling is me. I'm at the gym lifting weights and pushing myself so hard, but at the same moment, it is absolute happiness. It's almost meditative. It's not hard. It's not working hard. It's hard work. There's a real difference. Working hard is bad for us. That's what takes discipline and drive and grit and all these personal development tools, because you're pushing yourself outside of where you truly are. When you do hard work, it's an absolute pleasure. It's not working hard. I push weights until my muscles are hurting. I'm completely at failure. I love the feeling. I'm not working hard. I'm just doing hard work that I love.
I want to go into this because I think a lot of people have this resistance towards hard, and they see it as, especially I do see it a lot with my generation and younger generations, because a lot of it is we have grown up in an environment where a lot of it is instant gratification. Like if you want to go watch a movie, you don't have to go to cinema and watch what's on. You actually just like, you don't even have to leave the sofa. You can watch it. But at the same time, like a lot of the times when it comes to like relationships or even like that, a character, things like that, it takes time, it takes patience. And a lot of the times building even a character, it comes through like hard things or like, you know, overcoming, facing, and also not from energy of force, but more like it's, I think you know what I'm talking about. You might even explain it better. But what's the importance of the hard work or even like hardships? Because I think a lot of us, we're afraid of it, but at the same time, as we go through it, as we're in it, we might miss the beauty and the power of it.
Yeah. Well, beauty is the right word. We don't see beauty the way I think we're meant to. We wouldn't be here as a species if we didn't have resistance as one of our basic traits, overcoming. Resistance is a fabulous thing. Now, some people see resistance as working hard, pushing back against the weight, having to go to work and do this job that I don't love, having to deal with kids that are interrupting me, a million different things. And when you just mentioned about people not wanting to put in the time to get the result, wanting it instantly, this is this externalitis in action. Everything is out there. See, hard work is in here. Working hard is out there. Because that's a resistance against what I want. Hard work is what I want. It is our nature to push ourselves, to better ourselves, to improve ourselves, to feel that benefit of pushing back against the resistance. That is the beauty, the beautiful place that life is at. But when we externalize it all, we turn it into goals, wishes, dreams, one day, reaching, achieving. That's the problem of living in the dream. The idea of it puts us in the future. And the future doesn't exist. No one does reach their goal by working tomorrow. They do it today. It's always today. I call myself a 16-hour coach because this is how I rebuilt my life. I realized I had collapsed so far, there was no way to rebuild, regain, recover that life, nor did I want it. It led me to the disaster. So recovery is a word that I don't like, but so I had to compress life. Life collapsed. I said I need to collapse life. What do I do? Well, what's a day? 24 hours. If we decide arbitrarily that 8 hours is a good night's sleep to recharge our batteries, then we have 16 hours of conscious waking ability to do things, to be conscious, to be aware, to be in attention, to work with intention. Most people spend 75% of that day not doing that. We live in habit, routine, memory, yesterday, anxiety, what's going to happen tomorrow. We go through our day eating food just based on our eating without thinking about it. And sit on that couch and start watching some YouTube, and pretty soon it's 2 hours later. Because why? Well, that's how we are. That's how we function as semi-conscious, daydreaming humans. Austra drives home from work on a Thursday evening. She's exhausted. She walks into the house and slaps her keys down on the counter. And the sound of the keys hitting the counter, she wakes up. And Austra goes, I don't even remember driving home. I don't remember anything about it. How can this happen? Because we live so well trained, self-trained, all the years you've been alive in the story, that you can subconsciously function massive amounts of your life without even paying attention. So I said 16 hours. If I can be awake for 16 hours, I don't have to do it for one day. Just one day. I don't have to do it for 10 years. I don't have to do it for the rest of my life. Just one day. Okay. Today, could I take 30 minutes and go for a walk or go to the gym? Could I look after my body a bit? 30 minutes. Yeah, I think I could do that in 16 hours. Okay. Could I pay attention when I go to the fridge and choose to eat better food instead of the junk I've been living on? For one day? Yeah, I could probably eat better for one day. Could I call somebody I love and tell them I love them? See if they need any help? I can do that. Could I work at my job to keep a roof over my head, food, clothes on my back, and food in my belly, and put some real good hard work into it today? Yeah, I could do that. So in one day, my entire life can be taken care of? In one day? It's only ever taken care of in one day. We only ever live one day. You only have 16 hours. The beauty is you wake up tomorrow morning and a do-over. I get another 16 hours. I won.
Question here.
What a victory.
Question here. Let's say somebody wakes up and as they wake up, yesterday is still there. They remember yesterday. They remembered all the things that they did. And what if their reaction is, I have to do all that again, and I'm not where I want to be? What did you say to that person?
You have to practice forgetting.
How to do
You
that?
have to practice living now, not in yesterday. You see, that happens because you just had 40 years of practice of yesterdays. You had 40 years of waking up and thinking about what happened yesterday and what's going to happen in front of me in 10 minutes, in 10 hours, tomorrow. We practice doing those two things. So like any athlete, you have to develop a plan, a strategy, and practice. You have to practice not being asleep. You cannot wake up and think about yesterday or tomorrow unless you're daydreaming when you wake up. You're not in attention. That's what that means. Because when you and I are right here talking, we are in attention with each other. Our minds cannot travel to yesterday or tomorrow. It's impossible. Our brains don't work that way. So as soon as you do it, you have to practice being aware of your thoughts, not your thinking. There's a difference. Thoughts arise.
What's the difference?
Thoughts arise from the story mind, from the past and the future. That's what comes up in your head and says, oh, careful. Oh, you have to get that meeting. Oh, don't screw up. That's thought. Thinking is active, attention, choosing, now. You don't have thoughts when you're thinking. I say to people, are you a thinker or a thoughter? Do you have thoughts or do you have thinks?
Hmm.
You don't have thinks, you think. It's an active activity.
I was about to ask if it's like active versus passive.
Yes. The story mind is the passive. It's the lazy. It's the fear and insecurity. It's where you drift to yesterday and tomorrow. The active is thinking, being, in attention, attentive, and it takes effort. When I started, I still have a sticky note on my TV behind me here, and the sticky note says, "Get off your ass." It's the TV talking to me, saying, "I see you sitting there, and you shouldn't be sitting there,"
Yeah.
telling me to wake up. I had a sticky note on my fridge. "What's about to go into your mouth?" It was to wake me up when I get to the fridge and make sure I'm not sleepwalking. So I'm attentive and I eat better. And I had these sticky notes all over the house to continually remind me in that first year of developing this to be awake. And now I think I'm up to 95% awake for 16 hours. And when you're awake, you have no problems. You have no regrets, worries, difficulties, struggles. Nothing exists because you're here. All that stuff is fantasy, is created in your mind. It's just pretend.
I have a question on stories and identity. So let's say we have these stories that we have from the past, and in some ways they form our identity. Then the question is, because I think there can be stories that can serve us. So the question is, do we have to let go all of the stories, or can we rebuild new stories? Like what would be your input there?
The story mind is not reality.
Mm.
It is imagined, it is believed, it is memory. You also have a toolbox brain. The
Okay.
toolbox brain, you store language, tools, techniques, skills, practice, all the things that we function physically in life or sport, in your case. To attach to those things are tools. It's a toolbox we have in our brain. We learn those things through experiences throughout our life. But they are not imagined because you apply them. You don't believe them because you know them. They're not a non-reality memory. They are moved from memory to skill. And we store them. And that's the difference. Everyone has the brain we function every day with. The voice, the worries, the concerns are the story mind that we attach to and say, "Oh, that's me." People will say, "I'm a plumber. Here's my tools. These are my skills. I've been doing this for years." Blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is. But even on my job, the story mind shows up. You know? Oh, a client. Oh, this guy seems to be a bit of a jerk. Oh, I don't think this guy likes me. That's the story mind talking to you. This narrative that is imagined and fake. The tools are when I go and I play tennis, I am just playing tennis. There is no story being played because I'm there doing my thing. I'm using the skills, the tools, the techniques I've learned, and because I like it. You see, if I didn't like it, it would be working hard. Because I like it, it's the hard work that I praise and love. I go to my job and I love it because I keep the story out of it. My boss isn't a jerk. He's just had his own stuff to deal with. I don't have to accept his temperament and his energy. That's on me. I'm responsible for that. He can't upset me. I can only upset myself. You can't love me. I can only accept love. We can't lose love because we are love. But when we externalize and attach to all these things, they become weapons against us. And we have to be defensive and careful and secure and worry about our fears because we've externalized everything. You have nothing to fear. The most important person on planet Earth right now is you. There's not a more important human being alive in the world. Why would I say that? How could I know that? I don't know you. Because if you weren't here, where would the world be?
Hmm.
It wouldn't exist. If you weren't here, how could you have a hug with someone you love? You couldn't. Be kissed, be told you're beautiful, to say I love you. You wouldn't experience anything. So how could you not be the most important person in the world? And this is not a selfish pointing. This is a being who you are. Because 8 billion other people, they're the most important person in the world. I'd say we are 8 billion chefs all trying to cook the same recipe, but every dish comes out a little different tasting, a little different looking, maybe a little different aroma. But we're all 8 billion chefs cooking the same dish. We are in the same story. Hollywood produces the same movie over and over and over. If you dissect it to the story level, it is the same movie. If you dissect it to the story level, you and I, have the same story. Of course, there are different locations, different parents, different experiences, different times, different outcomes, different desires. But if you look at the base of that story, it's the same. We are all on the same journey. And so when I said about the baby's face being this just love, beauty, and happiness, 3 months ago, my mother died. I looked into her face 2 hours before she died, and what do you think I saw? The same thing. I saw beauty, love, and my heart was full of happiness, not fear and regret, because I saw life. In between, we fall into this story, a Netflix series, a storm in our minds every day that we think is so important, externalized. Oh, what's the economy going to do? How is it going to disrupt? It doesn't disrupt. 100 years ago, this world was coming to an end. Today, the world is coming to an end. The story doesn't change. It just goes round and round. We attach to it strongly some moments, and we are emotionally involved and charged up, and we get angry and we shout and we struggle and confront other people and argue. And tomorrow, it's gone. It was never, we attach to this reality that isn't. That flow state of the athlete, we can live there. We can live there. You can take that to every job, to working with your children, to working with colleagues, everywhere. You know when you are coaching someone and they are with you, connected, you are like one. They understand exactly what you're saying, you're understanding what they're feeling, and you're clicking. That beautiful place is that state, is being. You're not trying. You're not grunting it out and trying to force anything. It's happening beautifully. 10 years old, I walked down onto the dock on a lake where I used to stay when I was a kid in the summers. It's 10 o'clock at night. It's a beautiful August evening. I lay my sleeping bag down on the dock. I look up at this incredible star-filled sky. And what happens? Just for a moment, I go there, that flow. Just being, just taking it, just consuming life. That beautiful place. Well, at 60 years old, I can walk down on that same dock, lie down, look up at that same sky, and the same place. Being doesn't age. The same feeling you had at 10 years old when you were in flow, having fun, whatever it was, is the same feeling you had yesterday on a bike ride, and you were just going and feeling fabulous. Just being there. That's the place outside of the story. That's who we're meant to be, how we're supposed to live. But we have to practice to get out of the drama. Life isn't a drama. It's beautiful. We already came to the conclusion when we began that the happiness, the peaceful beauty, love is where we all want to be. Well, if we really do it now. Don't wait. And what is in the way is our fear and insecurity. Dallas, you've got to be realistic. I mean, I like what you're saying, but it's not realistic. And here's the example of the culture we have created. Austra, tonight I'm speaking to a crowd of 500 people. I walk up on stage. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dallas Collis. I was traumatized terribly as a child. I've been through addiction, cancer, lost my wife, my home, my family. Terrible disaster. I've had all sorts of disorders I'm fighting with, terrible anxiety. Every day I'm working hard. I'm getting better. I can see a more positive, bright future. And I believe I'm going to do well. And I'm here today to say and inspire others that no matter how bad things get, you can do it. Well, the whole crowd is clapping. They're patting me on the back for my courage. Austra, I'm going to talk to a crowd tonight of 500 people. I walk out on stage. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dallas Collis. I have no trauma. I have no worries. I have no fears or insecurities. I have no anxiety. I'm happy every day of my life. That's all I am. Just happiness and love. And everybody in the audience goes, what a weirdo.
Huh.
There's the world we live in. The broken, hurt person who's struggling is a hero. The healthy, stable, happy human being that we all think we want to achieve is a weirdo. Because our reality of our stories and the collective story mind of the world tells us life is hard. It's a struggle. You have to fight. This is it's an illusion. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I was on my bike yesterday, and at 27 miles, I was just going, what a privilege. This is wonderful. This is beautiful. This is life. How could life be better than that moment, that feeling? When I was 5 years old, I started ice hockey. Played it for 20 years. For 20 years, I didn't step on the ice. It just went away. It became a memory, my past life, gone. And then one day, a friend said, yeah, we're going ice skating tonight. You should come. And I went, yeah, okay. After when I stepped onto the ice, it was 20 years ago. The smell of the arena and the ice.
I had really
itself.
similar experience with basketball. Like I was playing for 10 plus years, and then for 10 years I stopped, and I never really thought I would get back to it. But last year I found a group, and then through that group I found a team, and we joined amateur league, and it's like and it's really interesting to go through that, because back then I would have so many insecurities, I would be so much in my head, even though I was really good, but I wasn't able to see it. And now that I'm playing those 10 years later, it's really interesting to go through that, because the experience is still the same. I still find so much joy in it, but I'm able to actually see it and experience it without that background noise of like the fears, insecurities, and everything.
Right. That's all I'm talking about, is just that. You know, that feeling of loving that moment is the same 20 years ago or 10 years ago. It hasn't changed. That's who we are. And you added to it by saying you had taken the story away in that activity.
Actually,
and that's the real key for athletes all the time, is when the story comes in, they think about their performance in the moment, and of course they fail because the story came in. But when they keep the story out and just have the love and the flow, is when they perform their best. And that's in our work, that's with our children, with our spouse, anywhere. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Last two questions I have for you, since we're running out of time. I feel like we could talk forever.
Easily.
I would love to get you back on. This is really valuable. I had a question on, you said that being who we are. So how to distinguish who you are from the stories?
Well, the story is the who. Because it's what we believe we are, who we believe we are, right? That is the image. That is the character I represent.
So instead of like just being, we're just like trying to create the story of who we are rather than
Of
just
course.
be.
You don't go out to a social function without dressing for it. Maybe you put on makeup. You present yourself a certain way. That is an act. That is a performance. That is part of your story. This is who Austra is, and this is who I believe people expect to see, expect to hear the way I talk, what I do. We are the story. But what we've been talking about inattention, about that awareness, the baby's face, the starry sky, the performance, that is what we are.
Okay.
It's not a who. That is who we truly are.
Mm-hmm.
The who is the performance us.
So it's the who beyond the story.
The what?
So it's the who beyond the story.
Yes. Or it is I am before my name.
Yeah.
See, before there's a story, you are that person, that flow, that beauty, that love, that happiness. And you can get it in your life all the time. It happens to you. But for most people, it's fleeting. Yeah. It's a split moment, and they don't capture it. They don't recognize that moment for the beauty it has. Yeah. You know, it's that you get up in the morning and the first thought was, oh, yesterday, tomorrow, oh, what's going to happen? And then you're having a cup of coffee and you look out the window and you see a sunrise. And for that split second, you're right there. You're not worried about yesterday, tomorrow. You're right there. Look at the sunrise. Oh, and then it's gone. You're back to tomorrow or yesterday. Yeah. But for that moment, you were there. And that's that's what you are. The who you are is the worry. Got it. Yesterday and tomorrow.
Well, before I ask you the last question, where can people connect with you, learn about you?
You know, I always say nobody can hide anymore. If they have your name, they can get you. So there's not a lot of instruction. And I say anybody who wants to communicate, DallasCollis@gmail.com. It's that simple.
Simple.
All this is about is what we're doing right now. This is life, talking. And the more we talk with each other, the better our life is.
Agree. Last question I have for you. What is one piece of wisdom you're still learning to live?
Now, to be here. That is always it. I say that we all got this secret to life. Grade 1, first day. Everyone experienced the same thing. What happened? The teacher walked to the front of the class and she or he went, attention class, attention. There was the secret to your life.
Huh.
If you are paying attention, you cannot be in your story because you're here. You're not in an imagination or a memory. You're alive right here, right now, experiencing the beauty of it. And that's it. The secret is tiny, but it takes practice.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, Dallas, thank you for coming on, sharing your wisdom. It's been a pleasure to have you on. And for anybody listening, if you're an expert with 20 plus years of experience and you also want to share your story, your wisdom on the show, check out the show notes. We have the details how you can apply for that. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you in the next episode.